Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Hallelujah, thank goodness, Virginia Tech men's basketball finally picked up its first ACC win of the season, beating Notre Dame 79-73 in Castle Coliseum. This was a long overdue win for the Hokies, and following that rip your heart out type of defeat in John Paul Jones Arena against UVA, this was a win the Hokies needed, absolutely needed, and they got it done in crunch time. After Virginia Tech blew a 6-point lead in crunch time, Notre Dame came right back almost instantly. Many Hokie fans, I would imagine, including myself, thought, here we go again. Virginia Tech failing to close in winning time, but the Hokies won after all. Storm Murphy scored the dagger. That three-point shot that he made, his last of 4 3-pointers, proved to be the decisive shot that allowed Hokie fans to breathe easier before the final buzzer. Murphy scored 12 points. All of those points came from 3-point field goals. This team has been a major disappointment this season, and unfortunately, Storm Murphy is a big part of why it's been a big disappointment. He is more of a mid-major point guard than a high-major point guard. He gives everything he has. He is working extremely hard to help the Hokie men's basketball program as best he can, but there are certainly times where he can be a liability. Thankfully, he was a positive in this game, and hopefully he can continue to do everything he can to adapt to the rigors of ACC play, because this conference, even in a down year, is unforgiving and ruthless. Let's just be brutally honest about that. This is a conference where no win will ever come easy. And Notre Dame was a team on a hot streak coming into today, so there were certainly signs that the Hokies could go 0-5 to start ACC play. 1-4 is bad enough. 0-5, considering the preseason expectations for this team, would be inconceivable. Justin Mutz led all scorers with 24 points. Mutz played a wonderful game, did such a great job of attacking the basket, played quite tentatively at UVA, and this is a team that lacks players who can attack the basket, so those who can, guys like Justin Mutz and Naheem Aline, they have to continue to attack the rim, especially when the shots are not falling. Virginia Tech is a team that is athletically inferior to the majority of ACC competition. Let's be brutally honest about this team situation. The sheer athletic talent is not on par with the rest of the ACC, and that is why shots have to fall. If Virginia Tech does not make its shots, this is a team that just can't win many games. And that sounds like a very overly simplistic cliche, but on the opposite side of the coin, there are teams in the conference that can go out and win games by just attacking the rim when the shots are not falling. But that is not the case for Virginia Tech, because the inability to penetrate has plagued this team. I think there are a lot of Hokie basketball fans, including myself, who underestimated the impact of losing Tyrese Boots Radford. If Boots was still on this team, this would be a much different basketball team, but we can't dwell on the past. All we can do is hope for the best in the future, and thankfully, there is help coming in. The Virginia Tech's recruiting class for next year is a very good one. I'm super excited about that, but at the same time, head coach Mike Young has to place a greater emphasis on providing minutes to the likes of David Gesson and Darius Maddox, giving Maddox only 5 minutes in today's game, even in a win, in my opinion, unacceptable. Maddox is a huge part of this program's future, and if he were to hypothetically hit the transfer portal, Hokie fans should be absolutely livid, because Maddox is a tremendous talent who is not getting the minutes he deserves, plain and simple. And Gesson, guess what? The front court next year, without Keve Aluma and Justin Mutz, it's going to revolve around Gesson. He's going to be the only guy who has talent and experience heading into the Hokies front line. But Mutz was terrific. Keve Luma was terrific as well with 17 points. I love the wide array of post moves that Aluma brings to the table. And hey, the Hokies won without much of a contribution from Hunter Couture, who only had 1 point. You know, in most games, Couture is going to get his shots. He is an incredible three-point shooter. I love Hunter Couture's game and the team's contributions, but the number one positive from today is Naheem Aline's 22 points. He needed a performance like today in the worst way, and hopefully he can parlay it into meaningful production for the remainder of this season. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you've watched for this long, you might as well subscribe to my channel.